Hello, East Texas. I'm your host, Consuelo Bonilla. Thank you for joining us on this episode of Nac Edition. On Friday, October 2nd, Stephen F. Austin State University mass communication students will be traveling to Fort Worth for the South Central Broadcast Competition and Conference. 3 SFA students, Steven Serkowicz, Belen Casillas, and Tori Bean, are finalists at this year's conference for their radio show Nac Now. Stephen and Belen are finalists in 2 categories, with their other video being a PSA titled Let's Move. We talked to Stephen, and he gave students some advice about submitting things to contests.
Go in any competition, like just try and put out all your stuff, see how far you can get in competitions, and maybe you can, well, get in finalists and stuff. Look at what you have, be confident in every package you make, and put it in competitions, and you'll go far. Just be confident and do it.
You can check out Let's Move, Nac Now, and the work of other finalists at scbroadcasting.com under the tab Conference Information. Congratulations to Stephen, Belen, and Tori, and good luck with this weekend. In some cases, not all heroes wear a cape. Some teach the kids of our future generations. Reporter Stephen Brent sheds some light on teacher appreciation.
Right, of course.
Teachers are always in high demand. From the freedom riders to even sitcoms like School of Rock. These are small examples of the huge impact teachers have on their students. Whether it's intellectually stimulating or reassuring they have the talents they never knew existed. Teachers have the power to mold and shape the future of every kid's education.
It takes a huge amount of compassion and dedication to become a teacher. And even if you think it goes unnoticed, think again. Dr. Mayer, professor of media law, recounts the times he was thanked for his efforts in the classroom.
I think it was a woman I taught maybe 25 years ago. One day I got an email from her, and that does happen from time to time. So you never know.
Take it from Dr. Mayer. Your professors really do appreciate what you do for them, and it reassures all their efforts that they do inside the classroom. So next time you meet your teacher, stay after class and be sure to thank them.
From the schools of your hometown to the classrooms of Stephen F. Austin, teachers have an impact that stretches for miles and miles, teaches for hours and hours, and lasts for years and years to come. For Nac Edition News, I'm Stephen Brents.
Like Stephen said, always appreciate your teachers, and remember to take a selfie with your favorite professor and tweet it with the hashtag #ThankYouProfessorSFA. As people walked to their destinations, they heard a dog barking from under a sidewalk. Repair workers in Russia had paved over a stray dog while fixing a collapsed sidewalk, but neighbors came to the rescue. Ginny Moss reports.
Bricked up beneath this sidewalk was a dog, buried alive, a pregnant dog named Belka. Workers in the Russian city of Voronezh had repaired the collapsed sidewalk, either not knowing or not caring that the dog was using the hole as a den.
We asked authorities and no one would help us. Monsters.
For 2 days, neighbors had heard barking from beneath the sidewalk. A Russian couple who live in the building decided to dig up the dog themselves. It only required removing a couple of bricks and then a little excavating.
Давай, мой хороший, вылази. Давай, мой сладенький, вылази, моя солнышко, вылази. Come on, my dear, come out. Let's go, my sweetheart, come out.
Давай, моя хорошая. There were happy tears as Belka was gently lifted out of the hole.
You came out. You came out. We saved the dog.
They did save her, but she ended up losing her puppies. Donations paid for Belka's medical care and food. She'll soon be adopted out to a home and not some hole in the ground. Ginny Mo, CNN. New York.
Skywatchers got a show in the heavens late Sunday night into Monday morning, a total lunar eclipse. The sun, earth, and a full moon appeared in a straight line, making the moon appearing much brighter than usual and red in some places. This lunar eclipse is relatively rare. The last one was in 1982, and it won't happen again until 2033. The lunar eclipse was visible from most of the Americas, Greenland, Western Europe, Western Africa, and parts of Antarctica. It's cold season, a time many experience the sniffling and sneezing from the common cold. It turns out Americans suffer from over 1 billion colds each year. But how to best prevent or treat the virus? Martha Shade gives us some insight.
We all know the symptoms: a sore throat, sneezing, and a runny nose. Colds are all too common this time of year, but a new review from the Canadian Medical Association contains tips on how we can fight back. The researchers looked at results from 67 trials and found that good old-fashioned hand washing may be the best way to prevent catching a cold. Studies in children found that those taking zinc had fewer colds than other kids. The researchers say that adults may benefit as well. Probiotics may be helpful to ward off colds, but vitamin C, the gold standard of cold fighters, did not seem to help the average patient, nor did echinacea. So what happens if you do get sick? Medications like ibuprofen and acetaminophen help relieve the aches and pains, but they will not make the cold go away any faster. And almost all colds are caused by viruses, so taking antibiotics is not recommended. Cold symptoms usually go away in about 7 to 10 days. If you aren't getting relief by then, see your doctor. It may be more than a cold. For today's Health Minute, I'm Martha Shade.
With current political presidential debate topics such as immigration, many American Latinos are under the spotlight and actively responding to the negative views associated with them. That includes Hispanic students who throughout the years have increased in numbers at SFA. Since the last fall of 2014, the Hispanic student population was about 1,814. Stephen F. Austin Jr. Joanna Almanza feels very passionately about the topic. Almanza and her family are actively protesting these views.
Real recently, whenever Donald Trump went to Laredo, Texas, my family and I went to go protest at the border, and
Immigration
that was,
is a topic that even the
on-hands activism of protesting.
Immigration is a topic that even the Pope himself talked about during the United States tour. 5-year-old Sophie Cruz ran to Pope Francis during his parade and gave him a letter asking him to speak with the President and Congress to legalize her parents. Amanza believes that Cruz is a role model to people of all ages.
I feel like this is a little girl. She's an elementary school kid, and she knows these issues are happening. She knows her undocumented parents are at risk, and for this little girl to come up and be an activist at such a young age, I feel like it's important for other people, college students at that, to do the same thing she is. I feel like she is a role model. She's, 6 years old, and she's a big deal right now.
Amanza also says that every vote counts. So whether you agree with her political stance or not, remember that your voice matters in this upcoming presidential election. The closure of Star Avenue has become somewhat of an inconvenience for the SFA community. The 18-month project started mid-September. Reporter Belen Casillas talked to those who have been affected the most.
Before starting your engine and looking both ways for oncoming traffic, you might just have to put your patience in check. The partial closure of Star Avenue has many motorists and pedestrians annoyed over the heavy traffic on East College and Wilson Street. Joanna Armstrong is one of those student drivers who isn't happy about the overflow of traffic.
I kind of hate it because I'm running late normally anyways, and so that just makes me 5-10 more minutes late. So it really kind of just throws a wrench in all my plans usually.
As commuters, hall residents, and locals like Armstrong adjust to the new changes by finding new routes and preparing for daily traffic, many have to plan ahead of time before attempting to go from point A to point B.
I do have to just kind of think in terms of extra time, because I know it's going to take me a long time if I have to go up North Street to do anything. So I just have to plan 5 or 10 minutes more.
Both motorists and pedestrians are struggling to deal with the new route adjustment. Derek Hall, Jr. at SFA, has come up with his own plan.
I usually just drive around. I'll either take the detour route, which takes like an extra 5 minutes, and I've been late to class because of it, or I'll drive all the way around through these back streets.
The Star Avenue Utility Relocation and Rehabilitation Program is part of TxDOT's 18-month road development that will widen the avenue, add sidewalks on both sides of the street, and renovate underground utility structure. The reconstruction is just a few weeks into the 18-month project schedule, and although no incidents have been reported according to Lieutenant Dan Taravella with the Nacogdoches Police Department, there are still precautions that drivers and those crossing the walkways need to take. Stephen F. Austin Police Department has found a way to relieve some of the stress. Police Chief Mark Cossage says by having officers direct pedestrians and drivers by the Steen Hall crosswalk during peak hours like mid-morning, noon, and early evening helps the avenue's closure and convenience and puts safety at the forefront.
We knew that we would have a more of a load on East College, so we've been putting out officers crossing Steen, crosswalk is usually by far the heaviest traffic area.
Even though the heavy traffic on East College Street and Wilson Street keep flowing in, there has been no additional police officers hired because according to Cossage, there has been no huge need for it.
I don't think there's going to be any huge effect except the inconvenience. I think when it's done, like I said, I think it'll be, people will like it a lot more, be a lot safer, I believe. So.
Cossage is asking the SFA community to pay attention, stay off your phone, yield to traffic or pedestrians, listen to the officers, and get off your bike when walking on a crossway to prevent an accident from happening to you. Armstrong also has her own first-hand recommendations.
Definitely say stay off your phone. Look when you're about to cross the street because a lot of people don't, and that's dangerous for the driver and for the person.
To keep up with traffic updates, check UPD's website at sfau.edu/DPS. I'm Belen Casillas reporting with Nac Edition.
Other streets that connect to Star Avenue like Clark Boulevard, Baker, Fredonia, and Mount Streets will be closed and will reopen back with the new renovations the spring of 2017. Military veterans in Austin, Texas stripped down to their skivvies Saturday and part of an event calling attention to post-traumatic stress disorder and suicide among vets. They gathered at Lady Bird Lake and walked for miles. They were organized by Irreverent Warriors, a group that says it helps vets with PTSD.
And when they come to these events, we can all come together and laugh and support each other.
Here with us today to represent the SFA veteran community is Travis Long and Tim Hoffpower. So thank you for coming here with us today, guys.
Thanks for having us.
All right, so to my understanding, you guys with a group of 9 SFA veteran students went down to Austin and participated in the 22 to Non Silkies March, like we saw reportedly previously. So Travis, what does 22 to Non mean to you?
Well, you know, Connie, it's an opportunity for us veterans to get together and kind of feel nostalgic about our time in the service. And you have to forgive me, my voice is still recovering from this weekend, but a lot of motivation. But anyway, you know, it's time for us to feel nostalgic about our time in the service and kind of network with each other. And and like the reaction we got from the community was really positive too. You know, everybody stopped to get out of their cars and cheer. You know, which is a far cry from the guys that came home from Vietnam. They didn't get anything like that. Hell, they couldn't even wear their uniforms off post. But you know, the community's reaction was very strong, and that's why I feel this march was a big success, because I believe it really raised awareness in the Austin area. So.
I mean, it sounds really fun. I mean, look at you guys with your little shorts. So, how does this walk different from any other walk?
Well, compared to like say like an Alzheimer's walk or something like that, I mean, yeah, those are they're all to further a cause, but ours is really, it kind of uses the military's kind of abstract sense of humor that we have to kind of deal with things. Because obviously, I mean, if you saw about 1,000 guys walking down the streets of Austin wearing, you know, something similar to this with no shirts, you'd be like, man, I kind of want to, you know, see what these guys, you know, got going on, you know. And,
right.
Anyway, but you know, it's kind of a chance to use our humor to kind of draw attention to the issue, and it's really kind of more of a physical thing too. I mean, walking 22 kilometers, you know, isn't really a joke, as I found out. I've been out of service for a while now, and it was. Yeah, it was something, I'm telling you. But yeah, it was great.
It was great. All right. Well, to wrap it up, thank you so much for coming and sharing your experiences with us. After our break, find out if we're going to have sunny or cloudy skies with our Nac Edition weather report from Jonathan Rush.
Welcome back East Texas to Nac Edition. It seems that fall is starting to settle in through parts of the United States, particularly parts of the mid-north to the northeast, and a pocket on the west coast near San Francisco. Arizona and southern Nevada is really feeling the heat right now, though. Their highs for today still in the hundreds. We've got scattered storms across the east coast and some cloud coverage over the Rocky Mountain region. And then the rest of the nation should be seeing sunny skies today. Texas hasn't quite seen that fall weather stick quite yet. Today, a large portion of Texas is going to be feeling those 90-degree temperatures in the eastern and southern portions of Texas. It's going to be dropping down in the 80s for portions of West Texas as well as the Panhandle. Going more local, today we're going to be seeing a high of 91 degrees to a low of 62 with partly clear skies, and from then on it's going to just get cooler. Tomorrow's high will be 86 degrees with a low of 54 with sunny skies, and then the weekend will start off with clear skies and a high of 81 and a low of 50. Clouds will start creeping in on Saturday with a high of 81 degrees and a low of 53. And the skies will get a bit darker on Sunday with partly cloudy skies and a high of 81 and a low of 57. Now let's take a look at a little bit of what's going on in the Nacogdoches area. Tomorrow you should swing by the Stone Fort Museum on SFA campus. The Stone Fort Museum will be hosting a reception and lecture to introduce their new exhibit, Misery and Remedy, the Rise and Eradication of Epidemic Diseases in East Texas. The event will run from 5 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. And if you want to find out more about this exciting new exhibit, call 936-468-2408. On Saturday, October 3rd, the Nacogdoches Civic Center will be introducing the first annual East Texas Indian Artifact and Ethnographic Show. The event will start as early as 8 o'clock in the morning and run until 5 o'clock in the evening. To find out more about this event, call Robert Butler at 936-615-3777. Now, if you aren't really into Indian artifacts, but you do have a little bit of a green thumb and you're trying to get your garden to grow a little bit more during this fall, the SFA Gardens will be having a fall plant sale on Saturday as well. You can head on over to the SFA Piney Woods Native Plant Center between 9 o'clock in the morning and 2 o'clock in the afternoon to pick up some of your favorite fall-friendly plants to add to your garden. If you have any questions about the plant sale, call 936-468-4404. There's also an event for all of the orchestra lovers out there. On Monday, October 5th, the Orchestra The Pines will be having a concert at 7:30 p.m. at the Cole Music Hall on SFA campus. You don't have to reserve tickets, but there are first come, first serve. Tickets are $3 for students and $8 for regular adult tickets. For more information, call 936-468-6407. Stay tuned into Nac Edition to hear about last week's Sports Day Out, the ACU versus SFA game, and more from our sports guy, Brandon Smith. I'm Jonathan Roosh with Nac Edition.
Welcome back to Nac Edition. I'm Brandon Smith with the latest on sports. What exactly is Sports Days Out? Over the weekend, I went to Homer Bryce Stadium to find out. Sports Day Out is a Nacogdoches tradition that has been held at Homer Bryce Stadium for the past 15 years for people with disabilities. Games and sports are provided like fishing, badminton, and there's also a petting zoo that draws in quite the crowd. Some wanted to show off their own brand of talents. To get more information about Sports Days Out, I interviewed Todd Petershagen, For food, there's also popcorn and snow cones provided. While we were filming, of course, we got offered a few. And there's also a live band that plays as well, to include in some of the family fun. Someone to show off their on-air time as well. To get it from the SFA students' point of view, I interviewed Stephen Brentz. To come together for some family, fun, and laughs and good times is a thrill that will continue to last. For Nac Edition, I'm Brandon Smith. After having a hard time with McNeese State last week, the Lumberjack team headed over to Abilene Christian last Saturday to face off against the Wildcats. SFA had a bounce-back game by racking up 577 yards in the afternoon, which included 305 yards on the ground, while holding ACU to 425 total yards. Joshua West was the bright spot of the day for the Jacks, rushing for 133 yards on 12 carries with a touchdown, which was his second career 100-yard performance. Zach Conk completed 22 of his 40 passes for 272 yards and 3 touchdowns, while also running for 86 yards and a touchdown. The rushing touchdown gives him his 16th career touchdown, which is his 9th best in SFA history. Justin Liggins added 74 yards on 3 receptions and a touchdown for the Lumberjacks, with Aaron Piper recording 4 catches and 34 yards in a score. Robert Sylvester had the other receiving touchdown for the Jacks, hauling in 2 catches for 55 yards. After allowing a Wildcat touchdown on its first drive, covering 64 yards on 7 plays, SFA's offense came out firing thanks to a pair of lengthy runs by Joshua West to get the Jacks inside the 10-yard line. Facing 3rd and inches on the goal line, a bad snap went over Lauren Easley's head, and then it was recovered by Easley. Then SFA kicker Nick Bruno's field goal was blocked as SFA came up with no points. ACU then struck again, covering 79 yards on 10 plays to take a 13-0 lead. SFA's running attack went wild. Both West and Fred Ford came up big, moving the ball downfield. Conk ended the drive running in a touchdown, cutting the lead down to 13-6 after Bruno missing an extra point. Cedric Gilbert then caught a huge pass from ACU quarterback Patrick McKenzie for 55 yards, making it 20-6 Wildcats. Trailing 20-6 late in the first half, SFA rallied to take a 32-27 lead. Abilene Christian reclaimed the lead with 35-32 with just under 6 minutes to play and had the opportunity to seal the game, facing a 3rd and 1 with just over 2 minutes. But the Jacks got the ball back on their 15-yard line with 2 minutes and 15 seconds left. SFA was able to move down the field and getting into the Wildcat territory with less than a minute to go. But Zach Conk's 4th down pass to Robert Sylvester at the goal line was knocked away to give the victory to the ACU Wildcats. This loss makes the Lumberjacks fall to 0-4, racking up 2 losses in conference play. The road doesn't get any easier for the SFA as the Lumberjacks now head to Houston for the annual Battle of the Piney Woods against their rival Sam Houston State at NRG Stadium. Kickoff against the Bearcats is scheduled for 3 p.m. Saturday, October 3rd, which will be aired on ESPN3. In other news completely different from sports, a 7-year-old Massachusetts boy found thousands of dollars, but he did not hold on to it. He made sure it was returned to his owner. Paul Burton has more on the boy who did not just learn from the golden rule, he put it into action.
You found $8,000?
Yeah.
Have you ever seen $8,000?
I just did today.
7-year-old Aiden Wright has always been taught to do the right thing, but his character was tested on Saturday when he found $8,000 at this park in Salem.
I ran up the slide, and at the top I looked in the corner, and there was like this black checkbook, and I opened it up, and I saw $8,000 in it, and then I brought it down to my uncle.
Took it back to my truck, and I counted it out, and it was $8,000.
While some probably would hesitate, Aiden and his uncle did not. They immediately turned it into police. Turns out the money belongs to Elias Santos, a hard-working contractor who had just got paid.
Well, I was so grateful, because you don't have people like this no more.
Elias says he had the money in his pocket as he was playing with his kids here in the park, and as he came down the slide, it accidentally fell out, but he didn't even know it was gone.
When the police called me, I was kind of surprised.
Officer O'Leary asked him if he missed anything, if he got robbed, and then he fished his pocket immediately. He said, I missed $8,000.
He was so happy that that he gave me this.
To thank Aiden for his honesty, Elias gave him $100.
You're being called a hero, you know that? What do you think about that?
Cool.
He's been taught from day one how to do the right thing, and this just shows that the lessons have been learned, and I'm so proud.
What is the golden rule, Aiden? Golden rule.
Treat other people the way you want to be treated.
A lesson we all need to learn.
I don't know if I would have done the same thing that boy did, though.
You know, Brandon, I am a college student, so I don't know either, but I like to think that I would give the money back. This has been the latest on your Nac Edition news. I'm Consuelo Bonilla.
And I'm Brandon Smith. For next time,